Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be continuing our masterclass series on the 400 master tree. If you remember, in the previous video, we touched on a solo killer and what a typical master tree would look like for one of those. In today's video, we'll be touching on a killer with a party. So if you have your killer in a party with supports like an energy elf or an agility soul master, and you're wondering what the best 400 tree setup will be for your character, stay tuned as we'll be covering it all in this video. Alright, let's dive straight in. For today's demonstration, I'll be using the Kundun, or the White Wizard as is also known. So seeing that our killer has got supports around him, we don't need to focus as much on defense. We'll be focusing more on increasing his attack power and allowing the supports to do their job, which is keep us alive. Once again, this isn't a perfect build for a party killer, but I'm hoping to give you guys an overview of what to look out for when filling in your 400 master tree. So as always, we start with learning our root skill first. And for the White Wizard, we want to get to this block here, Violent Dragon Mastery, which will allow us to learn our root skill. So we'll go down this pathway here, Wizardry Expansion, bit of HP. We can go Mana. Here we have Ice Strengthener. We don't even use Ice. I think we're more inclined to use Mana, so I'll go Mana, Violent Dragon Strengthener, and then Violent Dragon Mastery. Once we reach Violent Dragon Mastery, we are able to unlock our root skill and cause havoc in the hunting zones. But in order to do so effectively and without stopping, we're going to need to go to AG. So once you have your root skill unlocked, we go to AG, 10 points in there, Mana recovery, HP recovery, and then I typically put 11 points for a White Wizard. Could be different for you and your setup. The best thing to do is to add these points on the fly while you're hunting monsters, and you keep on adding points until you stop running out of AG. Once we get to that point, I like to go just for a little bit of defense and then defense rate, just so we can make our way down to our stat points. So I like to go 10 points in energy, 10 points in agility, and 10 points in strength, just to start us off. I also like to add another 10 points into HP there. And then we come down the red tree, which is all about increasing your attack power. So we'll add 10 points in there, and then we'll add 10 points into 100 staff strengthener. This is where things get really interesting with a White Wizard, where your skill here is increase attack speed. So we put 10 points in there. But then again, you've got another one here saying increase attack speed when using a book. So we add 10 in there. So just between these 20 points, we've added 20 attack speed to our character, which is insane. Double damage, it goes without saying. You always max that out. Once we get here, I like to put 10 points into attack life increment. And this is where a solo build might be different to a party build when it comes to the likes of Reflect. So Reflect kind of works like Soul Barrier, but different. Whereas instead of absorbing like Soul Barrier does, this one reflects some of the damage that is received. Because you're in a party, I don't feel like this skill is particularly necessary. Personally, I would like to focus more on attack than the defense side of things, as we have our supports backing us up. So I'll skip the Reflective Barrier Strengthener and go straight into minimum wizardry damage, 10 points, max wizard damage, 10 points. Then we make our way to Absorb Life at 10 points there. And then double damage, once again, max it out, 19 points. Ignore defense whenever you can, max it out, 19 points. And at this point, we go back and we fill in all the boxes that we've left unfinished. I also like to add 10 points into Magic Mastery over there. If you remember, when it comes to anything percentages, the game doesn't read fractions. So it will only read whole percentages. With 10 points in Wizardry Expansion, we're only getting 6%, even though it says 6.68. So we'll add another point there to make it 7. And we'll add another point here in Mastery as well to make it 7. Cool. And then we add 2 more points into HP over here. Come down, add 7 points into HP here, as we've done in our previous build as well. Then we go back to our stats. We can add 6 points in there. 6 points into agility, and then 6 points into strength. And with that, as you can see, we've still got 52 points remaining, which is really good going. So I'm going to add another 5 points into max damage, 5 points into minimum damage. I'm adding 5 more points into one-handed strengthener. Also going to add another 5 points into magic mastery. Now you can see we've got 32 points remaining. One thing I like to do as often as I can is max out attack success rate, which is 20 points there, leaving us with 22 points. So seeing where we're at now and how well our tree has been filled in regards to increasing damage, there's only one block left that we have that increases damage. So if you're using third wings, you could easily add 10 points in there. You get a little bit of extra defense to go with it, and then 10 points into Cloak of Splendor attack power up. Also, I like to just put a point in Vengeance because I like the sound of it, and it helps every now and then. And then you have 1 point left, which could go wherever you like. I'll probably stick it in Stamina, just because the boost you get from that is quite high. And with that, you can see it's pretty simple to fill in a tree for a party killer. The main thing you want to focus on is increasing attack power. That's why we've got loads of these points in here. And also because of the fact that we're teamed up with an energy elf or an agility soul master, we don't have to worry too much on the defensive side of things. So we can use our points to focus on increasing our DPS, or damage per second. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. In the next video, we'll be touching on what it looks like to fill in a 400 tree for a support character. So we'll be looking at the likes of an energy elf and also an agility soul master, if you want to get an idea of how to fill in those trees. Until then, feel free to check out the Discord channel. Come over, say hi, and show us what build you've got. The link is in the description. So with that, I'll see you in the next one.